Our first reaction of finding out Julia had Prader-Willi syndrome was almost an emotional roller coaster. It was disbelief, fear, why me? And then it sort of went into, okay, this is what it is. This is her. So how can we help her? And that's when we decided to learn about Prader-Willi syndrome and the Foundation for Prader-Willi Research, and to try to do our best to help her live a fulfilled life.
It was a really tough time for my family. Really lucky to have the support that I did, but you know, it just doesn't cut it when your family comes over and says, what can I do? There is nothing you could do. If my family didn't come together and, you know, didn't support me the way they did, then I probably wouldn't have been here today.
Our initial reaction of hearing the diagnosis of PWS for Claire was shock. There's a lot of unknowns and fear of what the future was going to bring for her and ourselves as parents and as a family, what this was going to mean for them and how we were going to manage it. I think it was fear. A lot of it was just fear of the unknown. I remember we were just like, how in the world are we ever going to manage all of this and be your typical family?
The biggest challenge for Dante is the anxiety. Every day he experiences a high level of anxiety when it comes to food, when it comes to routine, schedules. So if you know, if a plan in the day changes, his brain doesn't have the mechanism to kind of help him manage and control that behavior, and so he either has a meltdown or is unable to communicate that he's upset. And so every single thing you do throughout the day, if it's not planned and not executed accordingly, becomes a challenge. And so you can see how that, you know, lends to a difficult daily struggle. I mean, he has a lot of struggles with communication, but because he's struggling to communicate, it increases his anxiety, which then increases behavior, which then decreases learning. And so it's kind of like everything's stacked up against him. And it's so hard as a parent and as a teacher to work so hard and tirelessly with your child to get them to read or to get them to walk or to do any milestone that every child just achieves so naturally. And everything with him was just extra and hard.
Several challenges come with Prader-Willi syndrome. I would say for Julia, the main challenge would be food preoccupation. The constant thinking about food, sort of her day revolves around food. We decided around when she was around 2, or just when she started becoming mobile, and we decided to create a pantry, and in the pantry is our fridge with French doors that are locked. So when you come into our kitchen, you don't see a fridge, you see a pantry with these doors.
My biggest fear for Dante in the future is that he won't be able to live independently, and that he is going to be held back for all of the things that I know he's capable of doing. He's got a great sense of humor, he's bright, and he's witty, and he's funny, and all of that is being held back by his inability to control his emotions, by his anxiety levels, and by the challenges of Prader-Willi. So my fear is that he's not going to be able to maintain that control, and therefore not going to be able to live independently.
She wouldn't be able to reach her full potential because there's a possibility that other factors are going to control what she's capable of doing. You know, like if the appetite becomes an issue where she is incapable of managing food, then how is she ever going to meet her full potential?
Mama will love you. Mama will love you. Mama will love you all my life. Daddy will love you. Daddy will love you. Daddy will love you all his life.
Ryan and I are most proud of Claire for her perseverance, I think. You know, I think sometimes it would be easier if she wasn't as bright and as, you know, so gifted in so many ways. Like, she has met our expectations and beyond when we first got the diagnosis.
What makes me most proud about Julia is her drive and commitment to wanting to do things, willing to try new things, I don't know, I guess, you know, you're proud of your children no matter what they do, but then you have this child who has, you read or you hear about, oh, you know, she will never ride a bike, or she won't know how to skip or hop, or, you know, you'll have a hard time getting her to run. But Julia does all those things. So I'm proud of her for being able to do what a typical 6-year-old little girl does, because that's something that we were told that she might not be able to do.
We believe that research is the key. And so we started the foundation to really generate funds to be able to look in to find some of these answers. And research has actually been quite effective to date, and Dante's future is already better because of the research already been done. So it makes me believe that going forward the possibilities are endless and there will be answers, and maybe my hope that he's not going to be able to live independently is going to turn into a dream.
You know, we don't want her to miss out on all those great, strong relationships. We have such strong relationships with our friends and family that have gotten us through many hard times, and we know how important those relationships are. And I guess you always want the same for your child.
I honestly do think research has to fit into it. You know, without it, she would most likely have a great life. I mean, we would provide that for her and make sure of that. But knowing that there's research out there that may help her have that better life and a more independent life, that's something that I look forward to, and I hope to see that with Julia. And if not with Julia, then, you know, the next generation of kids that have Prader-Willi syndrome.